Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Shane here. So, the next three videos you're going to see are all going to be album rankings. One is going to be for Van Halen, and the other two, Pantera and Slipknot. My favorite bands. I know everything about these bands that you could wish to know under the sun. But if I had to rank these three bands, 1 to 3, Pantera, number 1, Van Halen, number 2, and Slipknot, number 3. Based on talent, what these men have been through, what they have done for the world, and just everything in general. So this is going to be, as you can see right there, it is going to be a worst to best. I am taking a lot of things into account. Production quality, the timing of the recording, the riffing, like the musical complexity of it, and that's just going to be the same for these other two videos as well. But yeah, with that being said, let's roll in this. So, as you probably could predict, I decided to throw Van Halen 3 from 1998 in the last spot. I will say a couple things about this record. Similar to Metallica's Saint Anger, and I actually might do a Metallica ranking too. But similar to Metallica's Saint Anger, I heard another person who did a ranking of Metallica say that Saint Anger was Metallica's worst album, but it was good in the eyes of music. So meaning, like, if a garage band had made an album like that, it would have probably become successful. And that's the same thing I'll say about Van Halen 3. Compared to what a lot of people can do, this was a feat. But compared to Van Halen standards, it's not only like some of these records come real close in the ranking, this is like at the bottom. Like the next album you're going to see, it still doesn't even compare to how bad the recording was on this record here. But again, Van Halen was going through a lot of health problems, was at the flame out point of his life for any human, and I don't blame him. There's a couple good tracks on here. The solo at I think it's the second or third to last song. I think it's called Primal or something like that. The Halen solo, but Halen, still doesn't sound that great compared to Halen's standards, but it's a good solo nonetheless. But I will give one song a standout ovation, and that is the song Without You, which I believe is the record opener. What a great way to open a record. It's got that throwback. It's kind of got that old Van Halen feeling, that classic drink a beer, hang out with your girlfriend or the girls in the backyard with the garage open and the grill fucking going in the middle of summer in an area that's otherwise cold 9 months out of the rest of the year. So it's definitely still worth a listen, but it's kind of atrocious, honestly. At 11, I did put their final record from 2012, A Different Kind of Truth. I hate to do that, because this was a record that hadn't seen close to the original lineup since 1985. Think about it. Was Sammy Hagar? Well, actually, not technically no, because Michael Anthony was the third member out of all those different singers up until he was booted basically for no reason. But I'm not going to get into the Michael Anthony conspiracy, but it was kind of bullshit. But anyways, but this still isn't bad. It's, like I said, it's way better than Van Halen 3. You couldn't get any worse than that if you were a professional musician. But Different Kind of Truth, it still has that kind of raw, like, flame out kind of, how do I put it? It has like this old man vibe to it. I hate saying that because Eddie Van Halen did pass away, but it has that lack of passion that once was. And again, A Different Kind of Truth, if a bunch of youngsters made a record like this and put it out and toured it, it could probably gain some traction and possibly be re-recorded as a label-produced record. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's some good songs on here. Stay Frosty. I like the song Stay Frosty. And Tattoo. Tattoo's a very good song on here. But we will move on to number 10. At number 10, we have Balance. Now, if you wanted to take any record I've heard from any band, if you consider their entire history and what they've been through again, as I said, Balance is like the bipolar record. You will find songs on here that are absolute gems. And you will find songs on this record similar to its I think it's the word is predecessor, the record after. This was released in 1995, but the record after was atrocious, Van Halen 3. But there are some songs on here that scream discoordination, tensions within the band, which is evident because Sammy Hagar was no more a year after this record was released, after the subsequent tour. But it's still got some good takes in there. Actually, the one song on this record that if you had just scrapped almost the whole thing except kept a couple riffs on this album and just took one whole song and threw it on Van Halen 3, and it would make Van Halen 3 even better. If you took some of the, what I want to say is, if you took some of the songs on this record, Balance, and threw them on Van Halen 3, and then took the good songs of Van Halen 3 and just minimized the crap as much, you could have one great, phenomenal, classic rock record. But the song I am speaking of is The Seventh Seal. And again, it's the opener. The opening track to this record is amazing. But the rest of the record kind of sounds not great, but it's not the worst thing to listen to. And it's still got that Hagar. It's still got the classic vibes to it, so it's not bad. Moving on to number 9, we have OU812 or OU812 or OU812. I don't know how the fuck you want to say it. This record came out in 1988, right after 5150, and look, this record is really not that bad, but compared to the rest of the records that are coming ahead of it, it's not up to their par, so I had to stick it somewhere in the awkward phase, and Van Halen's OU812 is in that phase. But again, there are some good, wonderful tracks on this record. It's actually not bad for a sophomore record with a new singer, but it's not up to the par of the next coming records, and that's all I can say about this. I will say the reason it's high too is because I'm struggling to describe how I feel about this record, because it's like not bad, but it's not like legendary either. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like stuck in an awkward phase, but it's kind of one of those weird records similar to Fair Warning. But it's a good record nonetheless. At 8. Now, everyone can agree that while David Lee Roth was in the band, besides A Different Kind of Truth, while the original lineup, so from 1978 or 74, depending on when you consider them starting, is when they released their legendary first record, or when they actually started the band. But anyways, 1978 to 85 when Roth left, undoubtedly, Diver Down was just... The thing with Diver Down is it was rushed. And that's actually, even Halen himself said he was rushed. He hated the record. And if I was forced to write a 10-song record and 5 out of the 10 songs were covers, I would have been pissed as well. Way too many covers. It's still good. The cover, they nailed the covers, but it was just, unfortunately, it was rushed. And come on, we want some covers. You know, you got to cover some songs here and there, like You're No Good and Ice Cream Man and Really Got Me. You know, fucking, you know, you get the idea. But I find it interesting that they covered songs in the Roth era, and they nailed them, but they covered songs in the Roth era and then started to stray away from doing that after Roth left. I think it was probably Roth that was influencing that, because his ego was explosive. But, or was tremendous, I should say. Tremendous. No, that's not funny. But yeah, Diver Down. But the songs that aren't covers, as well as how good the covers were, make up for it, though, and it puts it higher still than a lot of the stuff that was done after Roth left. But songs like Hang 'Em High, Cathedral is a great solo. I believe The Full Bug is a original track, and Little Guitars, great songs, but it's not great, you know. Okay, now if there was one Van Halen record title, or actually, picture this. Let's say if I was able to take something without copywriting and make it my own, out of any album title in the entire world, I would, if I was able to take it without it being copyrighted and replace like something else for theirs, I would steal For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I think that is such an elite, intelligent, and flows very well. But that's the title. To the songs, The songs on this record, 313, Roundabout, just really, 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 really good music. Right Now is a great song. This record, for being the third record with Sammy Hagar and the second to last, and at the awkward time period they were in that band where like there wasn't really any tension per se, but it was just like they were probably sick of each other still. It's a great record. I think For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, besides 5150, is the best piece of music that came out of the Hagar era, no doubt. But let's continue on. Fair Warning. Fair Warning is at number 6 because just like OU812, it's between a rock and a hard place. It's great music. It's right before Diver Down, which was not great, and it was right after Women and Children First, which is a classic record. But this 1981's Fair Warning is still worth a listen. I think one of the best guitar intros to this day is the intro to Mean Street. It's you even watch him play it live and he can replicate it live. I mean, Van Halen, undoubtedly the best guitar player in the world. And I'll actually also add my top 5 guitar players of all time. Number 5, we have 5150. I'm going to tell you all something. And if you can come out the gate after someone like David Lee Roth leaves the band with a record like this, you are legendary. And this record, I think all the predecessing records, or whatever the previous records with Roth had already solidified them as legends. But this album coming out the gate with Sammy Hagar, it's so good. It's almost, if you sometimes, because you know how it is being human, sometimes I will only listen to this album because it's that good. The title track, The Best of Both Worlds, Dreams, Summer Nights, you name it. It's just this record is beautiful. And I think out of all the Van Halen records, in my wholehearted opinion, it's not the best. Musically, it's still damn good, but the production on this thing is amazing. It's a monster album. And just look at the cover of it right there in front of your face. Truly incredible. And number 4, the aforementioned Van Halen, Women and Children First. This record, sorry for the colors, I found that and I kind of liked it, so I kept it. But this album right here, again, In the Cradle Will Rock, Romeo Delight, Fools, Tora Tora. Could This Be Magic is a great acoustic piece. Everybody Wants Some. I mean, tell me how, like, if basically now we're getting to the point of the ranking where these records are really, really, really close, and it's only very small things like the sound of how it sounds that are going to set these apart, and some of the musicalities are going to set these records apart. But this record is a classic, and if you want to get real drunk and have a good time, spin this record. It's great. At number 3, now, I'm a realistic person, but if you want to know my personal favorite will never be replaced Van Halen record is Van Halen 2, without a doubt. In my opinion, I think it's their best, but in reality, it's not. But it's really good. You're No Good, Dance the Night Away, Somebody Get Me a Doctor, Beautiful Girls, Light Up the Sky, I think, is one of the most fast-paced and most rock, like you could almost consider it metal. Light Up the Sky, Spanish Fly, great acoustic guitar solo. Out of Love was a Mike Anthony influenced song, no doubt if you listen to it. Great song. One of my favorite songs off this record is actually Women in Love. I think the intro to that song is the most, excuse me for this term, it's not anything weird, but it's an orgasmic sounding song if you listen to the notes, the sound of it. It's phenomenal. I mean, every single song I named, plus every other song I didn't name, which I think is only one or two, you cannot go wrong with Van Halen 2 at all. And as you could assume, final two are real close. But 1984, oh my God, the last Roth record. Let me tell you something. Let's say in an alternate universe, I was David Lee Roth and did everything the same he did. If this was the last record I made with a band out of like 5 or 6, I would be 100% satisfied and wouldn't even try to claw my way back in. I'd be so satisfied. 1984. Their only number one hit single, Jump, Panama, Top Jimmy, Drop Dead Legs, Hot for Teacher, the intro title track, 1984. The list goes on. It's a great album. And again, the only thing that sets it apart from the number one spot, and I'm sure if you've paid attention that you know what fucking record's in number one, I'll give you a hint. It's the same number as what it's ranked. But no, it's Van Halen, 1984. Priceless record. That's all I'll say. Excellent production. Just top tier. And you guessed it. Number one is Van Halen 1. The first Van Halen record I ever spun front to back was Van Halen 1. Before I knew the years, 1978, by the way. And Van Halen 2 is 1979 and 1984. Oh, can you guess what year that came out in? But no. But Van Halen 1. It's just, you know what I think took this record, truthfully, and what took these guys to the top. I don't care about Ross Theatrics. I do care about, but we'll put it past Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing and his brother Alex's drumming. Everybody was elite. But in my wholehearted opinion, on top of all that, what sold them, would you want to know what gave them their gateway into the success they've had? Was Michael Anthony's angelic voice made Van Halen a success. And the harmonies on this record are, again, no weird shit, orgasmic. It's that, it makes you like want to cry. It's so beautiful. It sounds like a romantic date that could have gone the best way you could have ever imagined it could have gone in your head with your anxiety. But, Running with the Devil. The solo eruption is a timeless classic, a minute and 30-second fucking ripper. You really got me. Ain't talking about love. I'm the one. Jamie's crying. Feel your love tonight. Little Dreamer, Ice Cream Man, and On Fire. Every single one of those songs, that's how it goes in order on the record, is worth. And listen, you know a record is good when every single song equally, like, so out of 100% is all worth listening to. All of it's worth listening to, even the covers. Dude, even look at the album cover that's right in front of your face before I end this video. Even the record cover in front of your face looks elite. Every single aspect, the vocals, the guitar playing, the coordination, the drums, the singing, the lyrics, the themes, even the covers they chose and the way they covered them and the way they organized this track listing, it flows like you're on a fucking beach. It's that good. It is that fucking good. I hope you guys enjoyed this Van Halen album ranking. We got 2 more coming. Actually 3 more. Pantera, Slipknot, and Metallica. As well as a top 5 guitarist list. And this is all my, yes, personal opinion, but also in a very deep analysis of these bands for my whole life, basically. So I hope you enjoyed this. Will end at 20 minutes. Peace Love, subscribe, like, and you know the drill.